Hey everyone, Nate with Grover's House here, and today I have the new Heliospectra 601C LED grow light. Now this thing is probably one of the most technologically advanced grow lights available, and it's really designed for the person who wants to make their grow room basically a scientific growing lab environment. In that way, I mean, you can design the spectrum of this light so that it could be, anything that you really want. Essentially, it has 4 different diodes that are built into the light, and you can actually, it comes with a Cat5 Ethernet cable here. You can actually plug this into your computer and control all of the spectra, the spectral makeup that comes out of this light, which I actually don't really know of any other lights that do that. There are a few other LEDs out, like California Lightworks and Kind and LumiGrow, who have different dials and modes for like veg and bloom, and you can change it up, but this one in particular allows you to change the intensity with a crazy degree of accuracy. And I actually know that the University of Arizona is using this light in some of their greenhouses and doing some scientific testing on it. So I wanted to show this to you guys because, this 600 watt lamp is pretty cool for a number of reasons. One, it's tiny. It's like the size of a shoebox. This is the unit compared to me. It's tiny. You can see here are all the diodes, and they're all compact into this small area. Now Heliospectra makes 2 different kinds of units, the 601 and the 602. So the 601 is designed more for your indoor growing, where this is your primary light source, and it covers about a 4 by 4 foot space, and you hang it up approximately 18 inches above your canopy. Then they also have the 602, which is made for more supplementary lighting or greenhouse lighting, and that one you hang about 6 feet above your canopy, and it covers a larger area as well. I think you're talking about 6 feet by 6 feet in that respect. So what I wanted to do was show you this unit, some of the cool features, and then I actually wanted to plug it into my laptop and show you guys exactly what the software does. But before we jump into that, let me just show you a couple more things about this light, because you guys probably already noticed there are these duct couplers on them. This is actually an air-cooled LED, and the cool thing is it's air-cooled out of the box. You don't have to hook it up to any ducting. It actually has, which it'll be hard for you to see over here, but there's a fan built into the unit here. So when you turn the unit on, this fan will exhaust the heat out from the heat sink in the LED and exhaust it into whatever space is there. But if you hook ducting up to it, then it can actually take that heat and exhaust it out of the room. Really, when Heliospectra made this light, I spoke to them about it. They said they were really focusing on bringing as much light with as little heat into a growing environment as possible. And a lot of commercial growers kind of jumped and influenced them in designing this because they wanted something where none of the heat stays in the growing environment, but you get all the benefits of being able to dial in a spectrum that's so precise that you're able to make minor increments in spectrum change. And let's say you have plants that are one strain versus another that are very similar, and you want to design a spectral regimen for that plant that is going to be most optimal. Well, you could set up different rooms with this light, try different spectral regimens, and see what characteristics you get out of the plants by doing different spectral makeups. I think there are a lot of boutique growers that focus on making the highest quality plants they possibly can. And this, I think, will be a powerful option for those people who are really looking to design a growing environment that is as consistent and scientific and replicable for what they want to do in the future. And the cool thing is you can control this from your smartphone. You can be 1,000 miles away and change the lighting spectrum of your light, or you could change the light cycle. Like, oh yeah, it's time to flower, but I'm 1,000 miles away. Turn it from 18.6 to 12.12. And that's a pretty amazing thing. So let's jump on a computer, and then I'm going to show you guys how the software works, and then I'll show you some of the power readings we got off of this guy on our spectroradiometer. Let's do it.
panels and light spectrum. So let's jump into using the software for this light. I'll open the application, which I easily downloaded on my computer. And what I do with this application is scan for what lamps are available on my network, which this light is hooked up dynamically right now, so it'll automatically locate it, and boom, I open up the software. Now it shows me the schedule, which is running. The light, that means the light is hooked up and it's ready to go. The status is okay. And you see how I just hit the description. Each little section of the software, you can hit show or hide description, and it'll show you essentially what each parameter will be doing, and if it needs any little further explanation, which you can show and hide. And there's some cool stuff like the temperature of each one of the panels here, and showing the description just tells you that these are the temperatures of the panels. And here is the status of all the LEDs. You can see the different nanometers, which stands for the color wavelengths that are built into the light. This one has 7, and they're all at intensity of 0. That intensity of 0 is that of 1,000, which would be full intensity. Now, if I show you the description of the tags, really this explains that you can tag each light. If, say, you hook up multiple lights via the software to be, whether it's your veg light, whether it's your flower light, and you can associate a value with it so that you can end up controlling your light via, a name and a value. So here's the coolest part, where you control the intensities. Now you can use these quick buttons down here, set all intensities to 0, 1,000, add them to schedule, and I'm hitting set now, where I can actually turn the light on in real time with this real time update button. And I'll be playing around with some of these different spectrums here. Like right now I'm in the 400 nanometers range, so we're talking about more of the blues. And I'm just entering in the value of 1,000, so you can see each one of these spectrums at full intensity. So I'll work my way through each one so you can see what they all look like. And you also notice that some of these color wavelengths have more LEDs associated with them, and that's usually because they're a more important LED, as Heliospectra has designed this light so that essentially the spectrum is put out with the most intensity in the spectrums that your plant will need to grow fastest and most productively. So another cool thing I want to show you are these little tiny arrows above. If you hit the middle one, you'll go up by 10, top one up by 100, the one at the very bottom you'll go up by 1. So we're talking, you can adjust this light on the fly really quickly, and you can be very, very precise with the intensities of each one of these spectrums. One other cool thing I really want to show you is, I can mess around with these spectrums here, and you can see the light changing in real time. And if I hit lock ratio and I start moving them around, it actually keeps the ratio that I had set. So you'll notice that this one's more red dominant, higher in the wavelength to the right than the left, and I locked the ratio, brought it down. So moving on to the next, I'm going to get rid of some of these here, but this is your scheduling for the light. The scheduling is going to tell your light when to go on and at what intensities. If you see that clock on the top right, this system runs off of a 24-hour clock. So 21 is really meaning 9 p.m. Here in the U.S. And what I want to do is, let's say at 1 a.m. I want to turn all the lights on complete intensity. So I just did that, and I added that to the schedule below, which is in green. The black part is where I can start setting my schedule and then adding it. So let's say I'm running a flower schedule, and at around noon I want the lights to slowly decrease in intensity. So I put them at 800. Add that to the schedule. And let's say at around 1 p.m. I want them to decrease to 400 intensity, or about 40%. And then, let's say at 14, which would be 2 p.m., I'll have them go down to 200, which is 20% intensity. And then at 15, or 3 p.m., I'll bring everything to 0. So maybe this will actually better recreate the sun going down at night versus just having your lights go on and off. And of course, if I wanted to, I can adjust the spectrum on each one of these different nanometers or wavelength spectrums.
Okay, now here's the spectrum of the Heliospectra LX601C. which is probably going to be the most popular light for indoor growers. And it's going to have the spectrum that can take you all the way from, when your plants are first sprouting as seedlings or clones, or going all the way through harvest. And you can see the spectrum is a little bit more red dominant, and that's where more intensity lies. And then there's also some good intensity in the far reds and in the blues, of course. So the spectrum you're looking at now is at full intensity, 100% of all spectrums. Now, when we put this under our spectrometer, we noticed that the light actually has a really even footprint. Most LEDs direct the light down pretty intensely over the center, and then it wanes pretty quickly as you go to, the 1x1, the 2x2, 3x3, especially 4x4. But we noticed, compared to most other LEDs we've had, the ratio of what the intensity is in the center versus what you have at the perimeter is actually pretty good. If you take a look at some of the other lights we've tested, especially LEDs, they don't have quite as even of coverage as this light does. And I guess that's because of the optics in this light, which distribute the intensity very well over the desired grow area of 4x4. And you can see over the different heights, 12, 18, and 24, what those intensities are, and then, essentially hang it at the height that you think is going to be best for your specific grow room. And, like I said, some closing thoughts. I think this light is a pretty big game changer in our industry. I think it shows that our industry is growing up, getting more advanced. And a light like this, where you can have 600 watts of LED photosynthetic energy, light energy, and have all of your heat exhausted out of your room, is totally novel. I don't know any other LED that has this right now, and I think others will follow. But right now, this might be one of the best ways really to get light energy down to your plants and have no heat in your room. So that's it for our test of the Heliospectra. This is Nate from Grower's House. Have a good one.